What's up, guys? It is October 22nd, and the NBA is officially back. We're so pumped. Jordy and I have had so much fun this morning getting into our research, feeling, I don't know if nostalgic is the right word, but getting us pumped. It's fall. We already have football, and we were pumped for basketball to get back. But as soon as we started diving into the research, it's been good vibes. So we put together 6 plays for you for opening night, 2-game slate. And welcome back to any of our NBA viewers who maybe we haven't seen in a little while. We've been rocking it out with our NFL fans. I know some of you guys cross over, but definitely some viewers that we were going back and forth with from last year that I'm looking forward to seeing again. If you guys have any questions about props or anything related to that, we're not covering fantasy basketball, but if you have prop related questions, just drop us a comment and we'll get back to you. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and if you guys appreciate our content, give us a like. But yeah, we are really excited about this. I will get into the picks that we have for tonight. Before I do, though, I want to let you guys know it's Boostober over on Underdog. So what they're doing, they've been running Boostober with like dropping boost tokens all month. But for this last week with the first week of NBA, they're actually going with unlimited boost tokens on every NBA entry you make on Underdog. So it's got to be all NBA, but yeah, I believe it's like a 20% boost on every single slip. So if you haven't signed up for Underdog yet, now's the perfect time. You get up to $1,000 in bonus cash plus a free pick for signing up. Just use code BACKDOOR and they will give you that up to $1,000 deposit match plus your free pick. Definitely take advantage of it. I'm kind of curious. We've been loving the alt lines with NFL. I haven't jumped on and looked specifically if they're doing alt lines for NBA, but that could be a lot of fun. Hopefully they will be doing that. But yeah, just go through the link in the description. If it asks you for a code, use code BACKDOOR, and let's have some fun with all these boosted entries.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's get into the plays. So my first play is going to be Derek White. I'm taking his fantasy score over tonight on Underdog and on Prize Picks. And for Underdog, I'm just taking his rebounds. And I'll get into it, but you could also, if you want, you could take his rebounds and assists if you want the full multiplier, but I'm going to just go with the rebounds and go for the easy cash on that one. And then I'm taking Josh Hart fantasy score on Prize Picks. Underdog does not have the fantasy score up yet for that either, so I'm going to take his rebounds on Underdog. And then for my last play, I'm taking Julius Randle over 30.5 PRA. I went through this whole narrative and I decided I'm gonna put my chips in on Julius Randle for game 1 with his new team playing against LA, and we're getting it at 30 flat on Underdog, the PRA. What are you getting into, Jordy?
Yeah, I'm taking a little bit of unorthodox plays here, but I feel really good about them. I'm taking Gabe Vincent for over 3.5 points. Taking Reid for over 1.5 3-pointers made, and I'm taking DiVincenzo for over 2.5 rebounds. Getting all the same lines on all the platforms right now, so feeling good about those.
Sweet. All right, well, let's start breaking it down. I'm going to get started with Derek White here. So yeah, I want his fantasy score because first of all, we've got no Porzingis tonight, and if you guys remember from last year, we were loving Derek White for getting super aggressive when Porzingis was out. So I it just like feels like somewhat of a safe play. We know he's going to get his minutes. As far as the matchup goes, let me pull up the PRA real quick on Outlier. So the matchup is like relatively tough on paper. Based off of last year's data, which we know we've got like a different team there, but a lot of the same key pieces. They were 5th in points allowed to shooting guards, 5th in rebounds allowed, and 14th in assists allowed. The reason I want this fantasy score though is because I want the opportunity to get 3 points for every block and steal. That's my favorite thing about the fantasy score for basketball is you can, some of these guys get like 4 and 5, blocks and steals in a game. These like defensive powerhouses like Derek White, that's 12 to 15 points right there. So I think he's going to be active. They actually have his PRA on Outlier as a EV plus play. But yeah, I'm feeling really good about him getting this done. So I just want a little bit of everything. Let's take a look at this over under. So we have a 222.5 over under with the Celtics favored by 5.5 playing in Boston. So yeah, defending champions. But this is like a great first game matchup. So I'm excited. We have two games that are like relatively high scoring projected, like in the 220s. So can't wait to get back to this. So yeah, if we take a look at Derek White in 2023 for his fantasy score, he went over it at a 64% hit rate, 59 times out of 92 games. And then if we take out Porzingis out of the equation, 24 of 33, hitting this at 73%. So he's extra active when Porzingis is not on the floor. So I'm loving this play. If we hop over here to Daily Grind, they actually disagree, probably because other platforms have this at a lower line. So go with your gut. I feel great about it, but they have it at a 53.48% odds to hit the under. So we just like to be transparent with you and show you what the data is showing, with the Daily Grinds like AI tools and stuff. But I'm feeling really good about it personally. And the thing that's most convincing to me is without Porzingis, 73% hit rate. You can't ask for much more than that. So I'm going to be taking that for more. And then if we take a look at his rebounds on Underdog, 62% hit rate. Let's take Porzingis out of the equation here. 70% hit rate. So both of these options are looking juicy to me. It's just 3.5. It's not even giving us a full multiplier on Underdog, but it's still, I think, is a 0.83%. So that's still enough. I'd rather just kind of take the safe route. But if you want that full multiplier, I'm comfortable with his rebounds and assists. Let's see. Yeah, hit it over 50% of the time, 58% last year. And then let's see without Porzingis. 64%. So if you want that full multiplier, I'm comfortable with the rebounds and assists here on Underdog. All right, let's keep it rolling. So Josh Hart, this one is, I forgot to mention, but obviously you guys know this. This is the first game of the year. We have opportunities here because some of these lines we're going to know with our gut, like this is set way too low. These projections, like we had a lot of fun with that last year. The first few weeks of the season, we were able to really capitalize on these lines not being set right. But as far as anything can happen. It's game one. So I like Josh Hart in this because his minutes were absolutely insane last year. Let's take a look at what he averaged on the whole year. 34.6 minutes a game. So the thing I like about that is obviously we know that when about mid-season, his minutes just started to really climb. Let me just take a look at the last 20. Almost 40 minutes a game in his last 20 games. I know that there's some playoffs in there too, but I just want someone for the first night that I know is going to be on the floor if his line is decent. And I feel like this is a pretty decent line for fantasy score. Some of these guys, if we're thinking they're going to play 18 to 20 minutes, then it's okay, if the line reflects that, if it's a nice low line, then I'll take that all day. But 28 fantasy score, I'm absolutely taking this. If we take a look at his last 20, 85% hit rate, 17 out of 20. Again, we know that that's not regular season entirely there. But let's just take a look at 2023. So he didn't hit it as much at the beginning of the season for fantasy, but I think that they got him worked in and figured out how they want to use him, and those minutes don't lie. But even then, 54% hit rate. But let's take Precious Achiuwa out of the situation since he's not in tonight. It doesn't look as good if you look at the 2023 as a whole. But if we take a look at the last 10, he went on a pretty solid run there. So go with your gut. If you're uncomfortable with this, you don't have to take it. But I feel comfortable with it personally. And then obviously Precious isn't playing, but it's I don't know. Go with your gut, but I think that he's going to be able to get this done. His last 10 hitting this at an 80% rate. So I think 28 fantasy points. I think he can get a little bit active defensively. I think he's going to grab, like, he could end up going nuts with rebounds and assists tonight. So out of all the three, this one has a little bit more question marks than the other two, in my opinion. But I'm going to still be riding this for more, and I want the fantasy score just so I'm getting a little bit of everything. Let's take a look at daily grind for this play. They also have this favor to go under. Again, it's because we're getting it at the highest rate on Prize Picks. But with those rebounds I believe rebounds are 1.2 fantasy points. And then you've got the assists at 1.5. So we know how active he can get with rebounds and assists. So those fantasy points could stack up pretty quick. If he happens to get a steal here and there, I think we can definitely hit 28. So yeah, they have this favor to go under, 52.74% odds to hit the under. And then, yeah, some like platforms like BetMGM have this down at 26.8. So go with your gut. I'm going to be taking it for more though. All right, my last play, Julius Randle. I love this play. First of all, I started to target Randle because I was thinking about that whole situation where he was posting on his socials and saying, like, you guys aren't even selling my jersey at the team shop, literally at the stadium, which is pretty crazy for someone who was supposed to be your franchise guy. Then you have the whole Nova Boys thing that just kind of took over New York. And I would be excited, as a New York fan. I think it's a cool narrative, but you could tell he was kind of feeling like he was being left behind. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they go and get Cat and they trade him away. So I feel like he is going to want to make a statement this year entirely. It's all going to be a question about his health. He's good to go right now. He's been able to completely get himself back to 100%. And so if he stays healthy, I like him to have really play with a chip on his shoulder. He's going to want to prove that they shouldn't have let him go. And then in game one, he's playing the team that drafted him. So I think he's going to want to shine tonight. And if the Timberwolves, as good as they were last year, if they were comfortable letting Cat go and bringing in Julius Randle, they definitely have a reason for that. And I think that they believe that, we have not seen the best of Julius Randle yet. If you look at what he did in 2023 for PRA, it's ridiculous. 85% hit rate when he's on the floor. So just 46 games, but he went over this line at 30.5, 39 of 46 times. So I'll take this all day. On top of that, he's got a soft matchup here. 27th in points allowed, 17th in rebounds allowed, 29th in assists allowed. When he's actually playing, he's averaging about 35 minutes a game. So we'll see how that looks with the Timberwolves. But I like him to be able to go over 30.5 tonight. I'm going with the narrative of he's going to try to make a statement in game one, just getting traded. If we hop over to Daily Grind for this play, they've got this favor to go under. Probably because, again, Prize Picks has this up a little bit higher than other platforms, 52.02% odds to hit the under, minus 128. But we've got mixed emotions here. BetMGM and Caesars, they've got it down at 29.5, but they're favoring that to go over. So you got to go with your gut. When I'm looking at the numbers here and then I'm putting together that narrative, I think he's going to make a statement here. So yeah, feeling good about this going over. Let's see. He's never been the type of big that gets in too much foul trouble. Just averaged 2.7 fouls per game last year. 47% from the field, 32% from three. Doesn't shoot the three very often, but he, when he does, he's definitely capable of knocking those down. That's not what I'm expecting to be a big part of his game here. But I love the matchup. I love the narrative. So I'm going to be jumping on this one early and put my chips in here. But yeah, the way he plays, last year, he averaged 15.2 rebound chances. Obviously, he plays power forward and he can slide over to center if they need. But he's right there with the opportunities to grab some boards and then 9 potential assists per game. So I feel good about that. And then on Underdog, we're taking that. And I forgot to mention for Josh Hart. The reason I want to just take his rebounds, I'm going to just be going with his rebounds here. It just seems like if I've got to take one of them, I think he can get over 8 rebounds, especially the average line's at 8.5. But the matchup is not bad against power forwards, 17th in rebounds allowed. And the main thing about this Josh Hart play is I just believe he's going to have reliable minutes tonight. And we saw him get hot at the end of last year, and we saw him kind of become a next level player from the way we saw him before, kind of bouncing around to different teams. And all of a sudden it's like, no, this is a guy who is just going to demand a lot of minutes because he's super crucial to what they're doing out there. So feeling good about that. If you guys do want to check out the DFS optimizer from Daily Grind, it's a killer tool to help you make your decisions and also find plays. I typically look for a play that has a lot of data behind it. And that's not always, the way I go, because sometimes you just really like a play and there's not a whole lot of platforms offering that. But the best thing about it is you can see what the odds are, what direction, the odds makers are swaying on this particular play across all these platforms. And then you can also see if you have another platform that you'd rather just go take a different play, or take that same play on a different platform. So it just does all the work for you. If you guys want to check this out, use code BACKDOOR at dgfantasy.com. You'll get 25% off for as long as you make your first subscription. So right now you're really getting the most value because you have football and NBA that you can utilize this on. But you can lock that in for the whole NBA season if you want to take advantage of that 25% off all year. And then if you guys want to check out Outlier is so awesome in the sense of like, I rely on this tool a lot. Every single play, I always want to just go check Outlier because I can really get into the details. And like you saw, we can take out Porzingis, we can take out specific players and look at all the stats of the player with or without specific players on the team playing that night. You can check out matchups, injury reports, insights about the player. So yeah, if you guys want to try this, just go through the link in the description of the video and you get to try it out free for a week. So take advantage of the first week of basketball. And that's going to cover it. I'm going to pass it over to Jordy.
All right, sweet. Yeah, so to get me started with mine, my plays are a little bit on the riskier side, but I do like the narrative behind all three of these. Gabe Vincent, I'm going to start here because this one definitely looks the most grim when you're looking at it here. Minnesota is first in points allowed, so they're a very tough defense last year. Obviously, we don't know how they're going to look this year without, Rudy and Cat down there and all those things, but they do have almost the same squad, but they added Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo and all these guys, but I think they're still going to be insane on defense. I don't think that's going to change. But Gabe Vincent, JJ Redick has been talking this guy up a lot. He made a comment very recently about the people mainly coming off the bench that he's most excited to get involved is Gabe Vincent and Jared Vanderbilt. Jared Vanderbilt is actually out with a foot surgery, so he won't be playing for the first couple weeks or the first couple of months of the season. So Gabe Vincent, I think, is probably going to get a green light tonight to come off the bench and have his I don't really know. We don't really know, right? I mean, who knows? Maybe he only plays 5 or 9 minutes. You never know how this is going to go. But with that coach speak, and with this line only being at 3.5, if he's bringing this guy off the bench like he says he's going to, and this guy gets 10 to 15 minutes, he should easily be able to cash this line. Two layups, and this is cashed. And any game that he's played over where he gets 15 minutes or so, he's been hitting this line. So for me, this is a little bit of a dart throw. So if you don't like it, you don't have to take it. But this could be one where we look back on this and be like, oh yeah, so Gabe Vincent scored 10 or 11 points. That was an easy play to guess that he was going to do that. So once upon a time, Gabe Vincent was a huge part of Miami's championship run that they went on, and he just never kind of correlated over to the Lakers yet. But I think Redick will get him involved for sure. So going to be taking this one over 3.5 points. I feel good about this one. It is just slightly favored to go over, minus 119, 50.06% chance on Daily Grind. A lot of people are mixed on this one. Some people have it juiced to go under. A lot of people have it over. So it's up to you. It's really just a coin toss, to be honest. But I do feel good about the odds of Redick saying that and him coming in. I know how good of a player Gabe Vincent can be. So hopefully he comes in and gets this done. Next play is Naz Reid over 1.5 3-pointers made. I feel really good about this line, and I'll show you why. Anytime he's played the Lakers, he's gone over this. Over the last 4 games against the Lakers, he's really had some big games against them. And now I think Naz Reid's going to get a lot more playing time. I think last year made it kind of obvious that this guy needs to be on the floor more. Now they traded Cat away, so I think they're going to definitely be utilizing Naz Reid a lot more. I think he probably gets a lot more 30 to 40 minute games this year. And 3 shooting is a big part of his game. Against the Lakers, he's averaged 7.3 attempts, shooting 55% against them. Who knows if their defense has gotten better? I guess we'll find out. But I mean, who's going to be guarding him when he's in there? You know what I mean? It's going to be a really weird stylistic matchup for the Lakers to kind of try to cover this guy and Rudy. And, you know, it's just going to be interesting to see how they adapt to it. I can't wait to watch these games tonight. But he's had a lot of success with this 1.5 3-pointer line. As you can see, the last 2 times he played the Lakers last year, late in the season, he went for 5 3-pointers and 6 3-pointers in both of those games. So I think it's going to be a fun game tonight. He's definitely going to get a lot of playing time. It's just whether or not he hits 2 threes, right? So I feel good about it. If you look at it on Daily Grind, a lot of people do not like this to go over. It's a -117 to favoring the under. So it's just a 50.02% chance. So it's really just a 50-50. A lot of people are swinging the other way and they do like it to go over. So like I said, he'll get the playing time, he'll get the attempts. It's just whether or not he sinks them, which I think he can at least get us 2, unless he goes like 0 for 7 or something ridiculous. So hopefully he gets in there and gets like 4 3 attempts. If he does that, I think he'll definitely cash this for us. The Lakers last year were 28th in 3-pointers allowed to his position. So like I said, it's really just going to be whether or not he makes them, or whether or not maybe the Lakers tighten their defense up to this position. Who knows? But Naz Reid's a pretty tough guy to cover, because he is honestly like a Kevin Durant type build. He's a really tall guy. He can shoot the 3 well, so he's kind of a tough cookie to cover. So really feeling good about Naz Reid in this game to go over the 1.5 3-pointer line. And moving on, I've got DiVincenzo over 2.5 rebounds. This is something he hit 67 out of 94 games last year. Now he started to get a lot more playing time, like towards the second half of the year. As you can see here, his minutes really dialed up right before the playoffs, and they started to get him way more minutes. This was due to Julius Randle being injured. You know, there was just kind of a lot of reasons he started to get a lot more minutes, because as you can see before that, he was only getting like 15 to 20 minutes a game, but he was still hitting this line quite a bit. So I like it. I mean, if you look at the head-to-head, he missed it once, he hit it once. I think he'll definitely get at least 20 minutes, like you would think, but you can see in a lot of these games where he only played 24 minutes, I think that's going to be about his his average playing time is probably 20 to 25 minutes in my opinion. And you can see there's a lot of games where he came in and just quickly got this done. He went for 4 rebounds, 3 rebounds. There are games where he missed it and only went for 2, but out of his last 20 games, he went over this 18 times. So, I mean, he can do it. It's just whether or not he gets enough playing time and enough opportunities. So hopefully he is aggressive on the glass and can get this done. When it comes to rebounds to the position, the Lakers were terrible in like a lot of defensive categories and rebounding categories. They were 17th to shooting guards when it comes to rebounds allowed to them. So 7.7 value. Like I said, it's just going to be whether or not he gets the playing time and can get this done. So these are a lot of low lines, right? Like the lines look good. It's just whether or not these guys get the time and the opportunities. So if you don't like the riskier style plays, you can fade these if you want, but I think that these could be some hidden gems tonight for, you know, a lot of these starter guys do have some inflated lines. I love Russo's fantasy score. Almost everyone he was looking at, we were both talking over in likes, and I looked at as well. And the Josh Hart one I'm a huge fan of, because that dude's just so good in every category. But don't forget to use your Anthony Edwards free square. This is definitely a good deal on Prize Picks. 0.5 points. Definitely take advantage of that. I think max you can throw like $25 on it, so definitely do that. And yeah, if you guys want to check out Chalkboard, they're a lot of fun, and it's going to be killer for basketball, because they allow alt lines for the actual NBA. And you know, it's going to be such a great time. You can bump lines up and down, so you could take like Let's say Naz Reid's 3-pointers. If you think he's going to go over 1.5 and you're like, oh, I want to bump that up to 2.5, I think he could hit 3. They'll probably give you like a 1.8x multiplier to a 2x, just depending on how the odds look on that one. Or you could go probably even higher to like a 3.5 multiplier if you think he could hit 4 against them, which is probably, you know, a long shot, but it's like they'll give you probably a 4x or a 3 point something x for that play. So it's a lot of fun. You can make some YOLO style plays where you could stack the board and go for like the 100x multiplier play, or you could take like the Naz Reid 2.5 3-pointers made, and it would be like maybe a 2.5x or a 3x, and then add another play to it and just try to do like a, you know, a 2-man that's like a 5 or a 6x. So it's a lot of fun. Definitely go check them out. Use code backdoor at checkout and they'll match your first deposit up to $100. It's a sweet deal, and they'll also give you a free play like this Anthony Edwards play here. They'll give you a 0.5 points play to match with your first slip to help you cash. So it's a lot of fun. Definitely go check them out. Links in the description for that, and that's going to do it for me.
Yeah, and speaking of Chalkboard, on top of the free pick that you'll get for signing up, they also have a free LeBron James pick on the board for the entire community. I was just looking at that DiVincenzo 2.5 rebounds because I could see him going for 4 personally. And so like at 3.5 on Chalkboard, that's actually a 3.17x. So it's a lot of fun to stack things up on Chalkboard for sure. If you guys want to come join our Discord, it's going to be popping off tonight. We had a really great time last night. We actually had a decent amount of us cash. Unfortunately, not all of our picks hit last night. Zay Flowers, man, that was a bummer. He, you know, got injured early on and then just wasn't getting targeted after that. Was able to put together a 6-man a little bit closer. This is why we want to start the live stream. I was able to snag this Sean Tucker that didn't pop up until like 45 minutes before the game. I was waiting for Sean Tucker. They had his touchdown demon on there like early on, but that's all they were giving us. And then like 45 minutes before the game, all of a sudden we've got his rushing receiving. I ended up taking that. They threw Kamani Vidal on there at 4.5 receiving yards. So we're really game planning a way to start doing a live stream before the game starts so we can just share some of this value with you guys. But if you want to come join our Discord, there's a Patreon link in the description of the video. You just sign up through Patreon. They manage our subscriptions. Once you're signed up there, go into settings, and then there's a connected apps section of the menu bar, and then you just connect your Discord. It signs you in, and then you'll have full access to our Discord. If you do that, make sure you hop in the community chat. Let us know that you're new to the community, and we just want to make sure you understand how to use everything. We have some extra analysts in there. Moose has been just the steady 2-man maestro, if you guys remember from last year. So if you guys want to come join us, go through Patreon, and then come follow us on X. We're posting content on X, TikTok, Instagram. It's just at BackdoorFS on all of those. So yeah, that's going to cover everything. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We're so stoked the NBA is back. Yeah, we will be dropping plays for tomorrow's big slate for sure. And then we will be doing our waiver wire video for our fantasy football podcast here in just a bit as well. So yeah, have a great night for the start of NBA, guys, and we'll catch you in the next video.
Good luck, guys.